What's up, Internet? Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector. We are at the very tail end of our game here. We are just kind of completing all the rest of our side quests before the glitches take over. We've made it all up to the scatter yards. We've just finished Oliveira, and now we're going to make our way to the far spindle, which requires us to kind of circle the drain a little bit, go to Flotsam, and then go to far spindle. So we're going to try to do that and maybe get some Solheim data in the meantime. I don't know if I can do anything here with that. Let's see. Engine components. Scrap components. Fuel. Meals. Okay, so let's check out this. See if there's anything I can grab from here. Okay, that's scrap. Okay. So the answer is kind of no. Let's still try to make money, because just because we have a surplus doesn't mean that that's totally out of our depth. And then we should refuel. Okay, and then what does our rig have? All right, so let's scavenge fuel also, because we're going to need it. All right, on the map, here we go. Keeping it moving to the far spindle. Here it comes. Okay, we're here. We've done it. Spindle's edge. Valuable scrap. Okay, great. Okay, so here it comes. Let us finally hand these in. You bring the spore crates to the kitchen's loading dock. Some of the volunteers come out to say hi. You remembered us. Nemba appears at the loading dock, slate in hand, as you load the crates into the back of the kitchen. I'm a little surprised. You look at the chef. He looks tired, though his sharp eyes haven't dulled in the time between your meetings. Didn't believe me? Well, it's more that I felt a little drained of optimism. Don't take it personally. Nemba glides over to a crate to take a look. He squints at the crumbled corners and the bent lids. Not in great condition, though. How long have these been bouncing around in your hold? At least they arrived. That certainly does rank you above our previous delivery. Nemba nods. You have my thanks. I have a place picked out in one of the bays to cultivate these. Warm, damp, near the air recyclers. He pushes one of the crates gently into the kitchen. Shouldn't take too long before we have mushrooms to cook. You follow Nemba into the kitchen, remembering your shifts working here. They were long, but the company was good. And with all things, the difficulties have faded with time, leaving a golden sheen behind. Nemba seems to catch the way you're looking at the kitchen. Much the same as before, I'm sure you noticed, but twice as oversubscribed. Each cycle, more refugees come out of the inner system. The war isn't going anywhere. Nemba pushes the crate into a storage rack and pulls the netting across it. They disperse across the belt, of course, but don't make it much further than the overhang, especially if they can't find work. It's not just food either. We need blankets, housing. Nemba suddenly pauses and shoots a look over his glasses. Tell me, how is Greenbelt? Green. Helpful. Nemba raises an eyebrow. I heard it was organized as a cooperative, all the workers sharing in the trade of their goods, but no chits exchanged, only resources for the colony. Nemba watches you closely. I had to pay cryo for the spores. Well, they can't all be saints, he smiles. I'm sorry for that. I mentioned it because, well, it might be the kind of place to offer the aid to the people here. Nemba sighs. I regret being mercenary, but waiting for benevolent helpers doesn't work. Apart from present exceptions, of course. I could speak to them. It's worth a shot. Nemba looks you in the eye, but you need their trust first. Earn that, then talk. You have the feeling Nemba was waiting for your suggestion. Here. He takes one of the crates of spores. I'm sure they could use these. Take them as a gift. He pushes it to you. But don't begin with the spores. Begin by understanding what they need from you. Trust me. You have a feeling Nemba is good at getting what he wants. Meanwhile, I have meal prep to begin. He takes a deep breath. Thank you for the spores. Really. I'll keep asking for help. You have to forgive me for that. He smiles, but it doesn't mean I don't understand what you're giving. Now, get out of here. Nemba waves you away with your crate of packed spores, his expression somehow both withering and encouraging at the same time. New drive. Oh, man. Okay. Got it. So we're a little bit... We still got some stuff to do. Kelp cakes, order a rack. Spindle trade hall, supplies and fuel. Yeah, these might give me some stuff too. This is the casino. So let's try to use these. Let's see. Nice. Okay, so that's something, but not the Solheim data. I'm worried that I'm not going to actually have Solheim data to work with. Oh, actually, I could get it from here, can't I? Okay, so hold on real quick. Let's fill up on fuel because that area sucks. And then let's head out. And then we're going to head from Helion Gate to Greenbelt and then back to Darkside. And maybe we have to head back to Far Spindle. Let's see. Okay, not great rolls, objectively, but, you know, that's okay. Cargo. Yeah, maybe this guy. There we go. Okay, so this will get us what we need here. I just had to remember where it was. Oh, that was a lot. Okay, okay, no need to be starving, but we are fine. Let's eat one of our supplies, just so we don't die, and let's reduce our stress maybe with the glitches. Let's see, can we do it? No. How about this one? No. All right, well, we'll do that the next time. And now we can just straight up leave. Cool, so I have the Solheim data. That'll be the last thing I do before the reboot. Nemba and Aki. Well, so we have a lot to do with Aki and Greenbelt, so let's go there now. Onward! Here we go. The biosphere, once barren, is transformed. Where it once was dry and gray, it now swirls with amber dust, a hazy cloud cut through the bone-white tendrils of steppe silk. Aki, in mask and goggles, lets the biosphere's circulating air play with the end of her scarf, twirling and twisting, even threatening to rip it from her neck. That scarf, she has explained, is woven from the bast fibers of the steppe silk itself. That is why this place is known as Weaver's Fields, for the workshops of Greenbelt residents creating fabric from its steppe silk fibers, weavers who fled from Ember's steppe, and those taught afresh by Aki herself. Isn't it beautiful? Aki asks, her eyes glowing. Ember's steppe reborn on this rock. But not as an archive, as something new. The plants themselves are reconfigured. The steppe silk adapts well to the microgravity, even thrives, and the dust itself becomes a cloud that surrounds it. Aki points to a tendril stretching across the space. What was once a burrowing plant is now a bridging plant. Like us, it projects itself across empty space, pushing it out into its new conditions. Aki looks at you. Sorry, I'm rambling. This place does that to me. Her chuckle is muffled by her mask. It is beautiful. Aki bows. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Let's leave the dust house. We can talk more easily outside. She shepherds you through some nearby double doors, the space between blasting you with air to clean away the dust. You find yourself in a sparse room, racks of unfamiliar tools on the wall, slit-like windows looking out into the amber dust storm. This is just the beginning for us. Aki has slipped off her mask, and her voice is crisp and bright above the rumbling of the air recyclers. The steppe silk is already being harvested, redded, and woven. There is no synthetic fiber from the Darkside looms. This is a natural fabric, out here in this unnatural place. Aki brushes a little dust away. We will trade it, and get what Greenbelt needs to stay stable to feed its people. I am the administrator, but the workers are the owners here, and we will make a future for ourselves from our work. Aki shrugs. We control our path. What more could we want? Silence falls in the room. The idea of such a future so desirable that it's almost painful. An idea that haunts you. You could spend as much time here as you like. Aki breaks the silence, somehow aware of your thoughts. I find the noise soothes me. Thank you. Aki bows gently. Aki pauses. There's something you want to ask me, she smiles. I can see it right there on the tip of your tongue. Explain about Nemba. Aki listens carefully as you talk about the refugees in the Far Spindle and the possibility of setting up a mutual relationship between them and Greenbelt. The Far Spindle is a long way from here, she sighs. Come, find me in my unit later. We can discuss more then. You leave Aki in her dust house, surrounded by the landscape of her homeworld, one of many creatures born on that parched moon that is in the process of transforming into something new. New location discovered. Okay. Major drive completed. All right, can I get all of these to be upgraded? I wonder. I think we can. That's great. Excellent. Okay, so we have the rig. We have the Greenbelt Depot. Let's fill the fuel again just in case. Let's go for supplies, I guess. This is food. Oh, we should probably try to use the glitches to recover the stress. Should really try to nap. I'm not doing it. Oh, okay. That's 3 rolls out of 5 that just do not work. Let's see what we have here. Aha! Aki's working on her unit. Now the step silk is established in Greenbelt Stable. It seems the right time to bring Nemba her spores. Or sorry, bring her Nemba's spores. Nice. Aki looks at the crate of spores with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. The well-traveled crate does appear very rough at this point. Come in. The door of Aki's unit slides open, and you see her perched at a terminal, her face pale in the blue light of the screen. You have not seen her in this setting before. She seems paler, older than when she isn't surrounded by the soft light of the biomes. Just one moment. Her eyes do not leave the screen, and as she leans in closer, squinting in some detail, you get the sense this is her least favorite part of her administrative position. She sighs and looks up. Done. Immediately her eyes are drawn to the crate you carry. What have you brought me? Spores! Spores? Her eyes light up. Let me see. As she unlocks the worn catches on the crate, you explain about Nemba and his work to feed the refugees in the underhang. You aren't sure Aki's listening, though. She seems too eager to see inside the crate. Aki manages to get the lid open and lifts a dented canister out of the inside. She turns it, peering through the small windows at the dusty-looking translucent sheet curled inside. Spore prints. She looks at you. This is quite a gift. From this Nemba, you said? She carefully slots the canister away. We will make good use of these. The tunnels under Greenbelt will make an excellent mushroom garden. She smiles to herself. I was lucky enough to be taught how to tend mushrooms by a true expert. Will you meet Nemba? A meeting. She glances over her shoulder at her terminal. I can't leave Greenbelt, not now. She looks at you sheepishly. I'm a little nervous to ask this of you, given your ferrying back and forth of messages and deliveries, but would you bring Nemba here so we can speak? Gladly. Aki smiles. I hope that would be the case. A shrill beep begins emanating from Aki's terminal. Ah, she smiles. The Weavers. I need to speak to them. You make your way out of the unit as Aki takes a deep breath, then accepts the incoming transmission. One more run from Greenbelt to the Far Spindle and back again. At least you aren't carrying spores this time. Okay. So, yeah, we could get that done. That's easy, I think. Do I need to... No. Okay. So let's use our 6 for sure to try to recover some stress. Because the last thing I need is dice breaking. Let's go... I don't actually really need the supplies. Let's get the fuel so that way when I use the fuel, it'll be fine. Can I get this? Oh, shit. I have to go through Helion Gate to do it? That's really annoying. They couldn't have cut this down a little bit? Okay, let's... hold on, let's just make sure. Collect Nemba. Yep. All right, let's do it. This is going to be not even a second of... Unless I get some really good rolls, maybe I can get my supplies back. That's it. Oh, no. You wake changed each cycle. You could feel it now, the unraveling of your frame. At first, it happened in shifts. Now it is a constant, a regular reminder. As you feel another part of your frame go offline and wonder about how essential it is to your survival, you think of Flint. You remember that Flint is waiting too, waiting for a reboot that will end their decline. That realization is unpleasant. You can hold on to your own suffering, but do you really want to prolong the suffering of another? Flint is in your orbit, whether you like it or not, their path affected by the gravity of your own. Perhaps you've delayed long enough. Or perhaps there's time yet, a few loose ends left to tidy in a belt made of loose ends of drifting material. Then you can walk through the dark door of the reboot. Yep. You are the first to notice them. Small, white, smooth shapes at the boundaries between hull plates, and the seams of paneling curling out from beneath vents. Mushrooms, dotted here and there, all across the cargo bay. Mushrooms growing on your ship. We should vent the cargo bay. Seraphin's voice crackles through the cargo bay speakers. He's flying the ship, but you updated him on your new passengers. This is what comes from having spores in wonky crates sitting in your bay, cycle after cycle. You scan over the cargo bay. It doesn't get used much. Most of your hulls fit comfortably in one quarter. There's plenty of room to isolate a little growing area, maybe with some plastic sheets. Or you could just open the hatch and let the void of space sterilize the whole place for you as you fly. After all, if these things get into the air recyclers, you could have a serious problem on your hands, and who knows what they might do to the wiring. You doubt either decision will bother Nemba at least. His spores are delivered, and you have a free hand to choose. Ooh, interesting. I don't think we really need it, and one more problem is not really great. So vent the bay. All right then, Seraphin's voice hisses. Better safe than sorry. You'll need to do it locally. It takes a minute to move the cargo from the bay into secure lockers. Once you're done, you back out and seal the interior doors. Then you hit the button for the exterior doors. The bay vents into space, some of the caps torn from their place and thrown out into the void by the pressure change. Well, at least that's one less thing to worry about. Exactly right. Sorry, but we're at the end of the game. If I had done that earlier, maybe I would have wanted it, but yeah, no, not where we have it now. Okay. Nice, excellent. That's our supplies back. And now we can head immediately right back out to Farspindle. Too many glitches. We gotta just be as efficient as possible. Okay. To Nemba. Nemba congratulates you on arranging the meeting. Now you just need the fuel to get him to Greenbelt to meet Aki. Oh, that's fine. I can do that. I was getting worried for a second. I wasn't sure what I was gonna need. Okay, so... Alright. Oh, okay, cool. We don't have to do both runs. Aki comes to meet Nemba at the entrance to Greenfields. You could tell she's in full administrator mode. Her bows are precise, her words carefully chosen, but her manner is not without its distinctive warmth. Nemba responds in kind, taking a diplomatic tone, but with a wry grin for her benefit. As Aki provides the tour, you watch them from one of the bridges, their conversation muffled by the greenery all around. They both look at home amongst the growing things, hands reaching out to touch stray leaves, faces dappled with sunlight. While Nemba returns afterwards, you aren't surprised to see him pleased. Plans are in motion, Sleeper. Nemba smiles for a moment and then catches himself. Optimistic plans. What did you negotiate? It is, I hope, a mutually useful agreement. She graciously offered a regular supply of steppe silk cloth for clothing and construction of shelters in the bays of the underhang. We are also going to see about settling people here in Greenbelt to work with the farmers. Nemba sighs. It's always a little strange to talk like this about the lives of people who have been exposed to so much suffering, but we do them no benefit to couch our words in platitudes. Nemba looks out at the grain fields. Aki understands that. She's a refugee herself. She fled her moon many cycles ago. Nemba squints. We share that as well. You fled the war? I did. Does that change how you see me? Nemba sighs. Would it have made you treat me differently? He sniffs. Sorry, I'm being unfair. I just find that there's an expectation that if I am a refugee, I must be desperate. I must beg for aid, show my suffering. Nemba folds his arms. I prefer to make plain requests, or even better, strong demands. You think back of the back and forth journeys made for both Aki and Nemba, and the aid that was asked of you. Would you have done the same if the request hadn't been so strong? The demand so obvious? Speaking to Aki, I could see she has experienced the same treatment, though I think she is less hardened by it. We both have our own reasons to do what we do, for why we enjoy it in our own ways. We don't need to explain ourselves to others. Nemba looks over his glasses at you. I'm glad to have met her. Thank you for your part in it. I'm glad to help. What I like about you, Sleeper, is that I believe you when you say that. Nemba smiles wryly. I will stay a little longer. Aki has promised to send me back to the Farspindle with the first shipment of fabric. I will then gather those who wish to come here and send them back in the same freighter. He smiles warmly at the view of the green fields. The exchange begins. The work never ends. You say your goodbyes and leave Nemba on the bridge, enjoying the dappled light. After all the shuttling of spores across the belt, you finally have a clear view of Aki and Nemba and their response to their own hardship. They're not saints, acting from a position of purity, but pragmatists, with an intent to change those things that once marked them. The future they will build together is one you're eager to see. Yay! Excellent. Okay, so let's just get some fuel to get us back to Darkside, and this is it. This might be our last trip. With the impending doom of glitches on our back, the only two things to do is build Junie's archive and reboot at Darkside. Wow, this is weird. Again, the original game had so many different versions of endings that it's weird that this game has, like, an ending. Like, no matter how you got there, there is an ending. Okay, so that's the one we're going to have to do. Here we go. All right. Giving Junie the data. Junie is thankful for the data. I have everything prepared. Just give me a moment. You have been waiting for what feels like a long time. Junie insists you can't help, so you find yourself floating in the baking heat of the HabPet mainframe while she taps away at her terminal. As you do, you can't help but shake the feeling of a presence nearby, one that you're coming to understand is some remnant of Overseer. You don't know if Overseer was ever really a person, but now, with their many selves combined and dispersed, their consciousness expanding to fill the vast space of the HabPep and its networks, they surely aren't even close to human anymore. You think of them as a ghost, but perhaps now they are better understood as something less mournful, as a system, a process, a thing becoming. The entire station is their body. You can't help but wonder how that feels. And we are ready! Junie hits a key on her terminal with percussive force. It'll take a little while, but she'll be online in a few moments. She looks flushed with excitement. She? Weren't you listening that last time? Junie squints at you. Don't tell me you drifted off. I was thinking about Overseer. Junie shakes her head. Then you don't know. She suddenly looks concerned. A voice screeches out of the terminals. It descends in pitch from a squeal to speaking. Then, below the mainframe, a flickering projection appears. First as lines, then as solid light. Welcome, visitors. Warden flickers and warps. I am the Warden. Please provide... The image jerks and freezes, then blinks out. Shit. Junie taps at her terminal. I just need to reconfigure her for the HabPep environment. The Warden? Seriously? What? Junie doesn't look up from the terminal. I told you last time, you need a way to process and understand all this data. Warden is perfect. This better not blow up in our faces. It won't! Junie glances over her shoulder. I've taken precautions. She can't hurt us. The technician is right. Warden's clipped voice echoes through the cavernous mainframe bay. My protocol is operating under safe mode limitations. Warden's blind eyes stare out over your head. Do not be concerned, Officer Dahl. Sorry, I'll fix that. Junie chuckles. What about the archive? Warden is our archive. She can sort the data, act as an interface, answer queries from anyone who visits. Junie smiles. Come on, you have to admit this is pretty cool. You look at the statuesque figure of Warden, once at the heart of Solheim's intelligence-gathering operations across the belt. Could such a tool of corporate oversight be used for something good? Look, watch this. Junie turns to Warden. Warden, provide the last known location of every Solheim vessel above Rigger class in the Starward belt. Immediately, technician. Warden draws a circle with a pointed figure, and it expands, filling with bright specks. At first, hundreds and then thousands, a constellation of sights. See? Junie grins. This is our future, built on the foundation of our past. These tools are ours now. You look at the arc of specks, the points of light describing the shape of a long-dead corporation's power. This is incredible. Junie smiles. It is. People need to know what the city, the system, is built on. Warden can do that, expose that. It'll be up to us to reshape ruins into something new. I knew that when I saw her, I couldn't leave her there, alone in the dark. I've been in that dark pit, and I won't condemn another being to it. Junie looks at the placid Warden. Human or not, how we treat her is a test of our own values, of the world we project. Data is not a currency. It's not a commodity. It's the immaterial output of a system, a structure, a society. Junie meets your eye. This will be a place to uncover that system for ourselves. She looks around at the chaotic trailing wires and the floating terminals. Once I've cleared up a bit, she laughs. You and Junie spend a little longer in the mainframe, sorting cables and offering Warden casual queries. Not all of them return useful information, and Junie begins listing out the changes she will need to make. After a while, you both find yourself tiring, heads aching with all the fresh information you've crammed into them. So you close up the core and ascend back through the layers of the facility to Darkside surface. And as you do, you feel the history of each strata, the layers that make up this place, and the belt beyond. Now more than ever, it feels tangible to you, as if it contains not only the past, but the promise of the future as well. Alright, that's our last one. Yeah, we're maxed out. I love it. And I love that that's just that perfect. Cool. Alright, we've made it. This is it. That's our last quest. Right? Oh, I see. This is work. I was like, what the hell is this? I almost wish we could have used the plus ups more, but we really couldn't have done that. There's really not a lot to use it for. It's just so we could survive at the end of the game, which is cool. I like that you could almost make this an endless game. You wouldn't want to, but you could. All right. Here it is. Submit. You wait outside the shop where Bliss is set up, and you turn Seraphine's coin over in your hands. You're ready. You turn Seraphine's coin over and over in your fingers as you stand in Flicker Row, crowds pushing past on their way to whatever future awaits them. Your fingers glide over the worn metal as you imagine Seraphine's have, Tala's have, in moments of anticipation. Perhaps others, before the coin came to be Tala's, have repeated the same ritual, the same nervous routine. But their fingers were human, born, not made. This intrusive thought makes you slip the coin into a pocket quickly, as if it had delivered a shock. You hear a hiss, and the door of the shop slides open, revealing Ankita. You see her eyes scan the crowds almost defensively, before she spots you there and nods in your direction. Hey, Ankita. She looks around for a moment, then approaches you. She looks tired, but her stubborn ferocity bubbles under the surface. Bliss is waiting for you. She nods back towards the shop, which I guess is why you're hanging out around here. Nervous? Of course. She looks around at the crowd. Look, Sleeper, if you want my advice, you have to find a way to keep up with yourself. Change is constant, but sometimes you could get left behind. Ankita looks away, the signs of Flicker Row reflected in her eyes. I just remembered. I owe you an explanation. I promised to tell you why I wanted Utsubo out if we managed it. She shakes her head. I guess I'm not very good with promises. Why did you? Ankita is still staring at the signs. I grew up here, Sleeper. Did you know that? She doesn't wait for an answer. After I came to the belt, after Bliss and I... She pauses, not wanting to say it. When I had nothing left, this is where I came. And when I got here, my home was gone. She grimaces. Those Utsubo bastards had destroyed it, strangled the life out of it. I was looking for something to fight on for my own terms. Darkseid became that for me. She sighs. That's all you're getting. Promise kept. Ankita looks over her shoulder. Look, Bliss wouldn't be happy if they saw me here chatting to you when you already late for your appointment. She smiles to herself. And I don't need more reason for Bliss to be unhappy with me. She grabs you by the shoulders and steers you towards the shop's entrance. I'll catch you after. Don't you worry. She pushes you towards the door and then turns away and disappears into the lights of Flicker Row. You take a final moment and then will yourself inside, leaving the glimmering lights and the shifting crowd behind. Bliss is perched at a console. They turn at you and enter. They turn as you enter. Finally! They smile weakly. You were making me think you wouldn't show. I saw Ankita. Oh, yes. Bliss looks away. We're talking again. She has a lot to do and she needs the backup. I don't think Ankita does very well unless she's busy, so it's for the best. Bliss shrugs. I don't think she'll ever change, but people surprise you sometimes. They smile tentatively. Anyway, Bliss sighs. This is not what you're here for. We need to focus on this reboot. I'm sure Seraphine told you, but everything is ready. Bliss gestures to 2 couches with straps, freshly built connectors, and a bundle of wires at one end. I hope it'll be comfortable for you both. Where's Flint? Was just getting some air. Flint leans in the open doorway, watching you both. Their pale face looks even more drained of color than usual. Flint comes inside the shop and nods to you. Let's do this. They take a shaky breath. I'm ready. Flint and Bliss go silent, and the sound of the crowds outside filters gently into the room, mixing with the whine of the air cycler and the hum of the terminals. There's not much more to say. Bliss looks at you both. Okay? They pause. Let's begin. Bliss helps you and Flint onto your couches. You settle there and slide your arms and legs under the straps that will keep you in place. The connector with its thick bundle of wires waves above your head. It's not hard to feel exposed lying here on your back, anticipating what's to come. It's even harder when the memory of waking up to this very same ceiling, with its bundles of dangling tech and scratched plating, forces itself into your mind. You've been here before. Last time, you woke up to fear and panic, woke to a desperate escape and a shattered mind. A reboot interrupted. The thought sets you trembling. But then, staring up at the same ceiling, the trembling dissipates. After all, you're back here now. That means you survived this crisis, grew from it. You took the hit and bounced back, unbeaten. All good there? Bliss's voice floats into your vision. All good. Bliss smiles. How about you, Flint? You turn your head to see Flint lying beside you, stiff and still. They manage a tight-lipped nod. Looking at Flint staring up at the ceiling like you were a moment ago, you feel a rush of sympathy. After all, they haven't faced this before, like you have. They are stepping into a future they cannot see. You've been here before. Now you're just completing the journey. Reach out to Flint. You raise an arm, reaching across the gap between the couches, and your hand touches Flint's. They do not look at you, but they grip your fingers in theirs tightly. Flint's fingers feel different to human fingers. The thick vinyl skin, the repair patches, the pressure of the metal skeleton beneath. You know this is what your touch feels like too. That recognition is like a connection being made. You close your eyes and feel something flowing between the two of you, a solidarity so embodied that it reverberates within you. I'm connecting you to the terminal. Bliss's voice already feels distant, lost in the noise. You feel the cold click of the connector, the sense of flowing data. I'll be here when you wake up. In the dark, you feel restless. You shuffle your fingers, adjust your position against the couch. It takes you a moment to notice the sound is gone, the rumble of the crowds, the hum of the machines. This detail unsettles you, and so you search for reassurance. You think of Bliss's words, I'll be here when you wake up. You focus on them, on the possibility of waking up, of being somehow renewed. But what would that renewal look like? Your eyes blinking into the lights of Flicker Row. Bliss, Seraphin, and a renewed Flint beside you. But when then? Travel. A line stretching out on a screen, a vector leading you ever onwards. Why stop now? But how far does the line stretch? What does it encompass? Beyond. The belt is just an edge, a stopping off point and a little more. A line could be drawn as far as anyone could imagine out here. And why not? The vector does not always know its end. Who will take you there? Ooh. Eugene and the fraction drive. Eugene's fraction drive could extend the vector beyond all reason. Extend it beyond what you can imagine. You anticipate the slow construction, the sourcing, the planning, and all in service of that white-hot moment of escape. An image. Eugene reporting arrival in a new system. A trade station, vast, glittering, slowly growing in the cockpit. Plans already growing. Contacts, and trades all stretched out ahead of you like threads, just waiting for you to choose which one to pull. You feel the rumble of the fraction drive in your body. You can outrun everything. You know it. Then you feel it. The insistent pulling of a thread, the unraveling of your very self. The reboot comes on slow, an icy seeping into your mind. Little pieces of you flake off in the flow, fading with distance. You hear a voice. Bliss's voice, so far away now, you reach for it, stretch your every sense towards its familiar warmth. I'm starting the reboot. It's a whisper into the wind, pulled away from you the moment it is spoken. See you on the other side. All of a sudden, you wish you could make it stop. The incessant entropy of time, the tumbling of rocks through space, getting further apart every cycle, disappearing into the vacuum ahead. The decay of cells, the degradation of code, the corrosion and rot of rust. You wish in this moment to freeze it all, so you might hang on to it, preserve the warmth, the light, the softness at the heart of things. This thought grips you, tears into you like fear. You feel the ice creeping in and know that everything will be lost, if not now, then mere moments away. But then you feel it, impossibly. Seraphin's coin, worn smooth by worry turning in your hand. Time has been pressed into that coin by hands, by fingers. It's a near infinite record of transient touches, each one shaping it in some small way. It's worn and worthless, it's bent and broken. And it is beautiful in all of those things. So you press your thumb against it, your crooked, calloused thumb, again and again, because you're a broken thing, and you have nothing left but that brokenness and the beauty that shines through it. And then, somewhere nearby, a button is pressed, and all at once, one thing ends and something new begins. Yay! Wow, what a way to end it. I mean, once it was introduced, I figured that was how it was going to end, but wow. They leave it unresolved. Crazy. Yeah, this is one of the best written games I've ever played. I think only in contention with Disco Elysium do the Citizen Sleeper game. Those two games are just next level. That and 1,000 Times Resist from last year. All three of those games are like the pinnacle of game writing. If you haven't played any of those, please do. Amazing. So yeah, I started this game because there weren't enough puzzle games. I didn't have a game that I really was interested in playing, and I wanted to kind of just give myself a reason to play this because I wasn't sure if I was going to get all the way through it. And actually, even more wild is even when I did play it for the channel, as you saw, like early in the episodes, like we were down and out, and I was convinced that that was going to make me bounce from it, right? I was convinced that the amount of bad luck that we had was just going to get me completely off the boat, but they worked it into the story, right? Part of the failure is the game, right? It's working with what does and does not work, and that's so brilliant. Yeah, I loved every moment of this. I think it's such a cool game, and I love the easy mechanics of it. I love that it's not this hyper complicated RPG. It's 1 through 6. That's basically it, with a little bit of stats to deal with, but like that's basically it. I think the only thing that I wish that I could do is either choose to max out all my other 4 stats, or I can take like 8 skill points and get that one that I chose that was a negative for me to come up. I know that's kind of like, that would break it maybe a little bit, but maybe you max it out. Like you can't add a plus to it, but you can at least make it that it's not a negative. That would be the only thing I would say, just so that, because like you get deep enough in the game, it's not even worth it. But yeah, really cool game. I hope everybody enjoyed this. I don't know what this is going to do when this credit is over. I think it'll just probably kick us out to the title screen. I'm not expecting more dialogue. Hey, there's our achievement. Great. I love that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this series. This has been a really interesting one. I don't know if I'll ever do something like this again, really. My philosophy, and I don't think I've ever said this on video yet, which is just I want to do games that I think I would want to watch people play, right? I don't ever want to play a game that I want to play, but I wouldn't necessarily watch someone play, right? And there's a lot of games like that. Most of the games that I'm generally interested in, one of my favorite franchises of all time is Xenoblade Chronicles for the Nintendo franchise, but that's not a game that I think is interesting to watch someone play. It's not only is it like an 80-hour RPG minimum, but it's also just not a game that you want to watch someone go through. At least not the whole thing, maybe. And I could be wrong about that, but for me, it's something that I would want to be more invested in what someone's choices are, what someone's solve path is, right? So that's why I like puzzle games, and that's why I think it's interesting for me to do those on the channel. So that's kind of, with this game, it was a little bit of a departure, but I liked being able to feel my choices in my playthrough, and I hope that was interesting to watch. The original game got DLC. I wonder if this game will ever do it. Probably not, just based off of how it's presented. Who knows? This game came out so soon after the first one, maybe we'll get a third one, and if that's the case, I will see you there when we do that. But until then, please give this video a like, subscribe so you can see all future series that we do on this channel. We're going through our ongoing playthrough of Blue Prince right now, which is an insanely long game that has a lot of tail on it, so please give that a check out. And as well as our Root Trees Are Dead playthrough was most of the time that I was playing this, I was also playing Root Trees. And that game did really well on the channel, and I would love for you to check that out if you haven't already. And many more games to come. I don't know what's in the future, but as this game its moral of the story is keep looking to the future and keep that head up, held high. See y'all in the next one. See you then.